switched from XAMPP to WAMP because that is what most we are having. So we are going to use this. Is the same as the other one, having the same name, discussion, users as our table. These are our columns that we do have the fields. So we are going to create a connection, database connection. We're going to create a connection. So we are going to come to local disk C, look for where WAMP is, then pen www. This is where we're going to put our project. So you can delete that default one and then have your folder there. So you can use a shortcut which is Ctrl+Shift+N. Then you have a folder there. So we can name it, we can give it a name, like, let me just give it any name of my choice. Let me name it crude, just crude. So open it, and then after opening it, come here and I call a command line. So I'm calling the command line because I want to open Visual Studio Code from that very folder. Then I will open it from there. So I have this environment where I'm going to write code from, which is Visual Studio Code. So I will create files. So the first file that you create should always be index page. So the index page, which is index.php, because this is our landing page. Then you can create another one. You can either give it a name, those who want to make a connection to the database, you can either give it a name of connection or database. So let me give it a name of connection.php. Press enter. So I have connection.php and I also have the index.php. So we are going to first deal with a connection in this tutorial. So we shall have that PHP block there. So we are going to connect to the database. So whenever you're making a connection, you mind about these variables. First variable that we have is you can give it a name of host name, host. So I can use host. My host will equal to. Then I can have another variable. It is having the server name, username. So you can give this one server name or host. So let me give this one a username equal to. Then I can have another variable called password, which is equal to. Then have a last one called db or database. So let me just name it dbname, which is a database name, and then equal to. So I'm going to assign values. So always your host will be localhost. If it is going to be on your machine, local machine, it's going to be localhost. Then on the username, always you will have root because you're using your local machine. Then your password will be empty. Don't forget to put those terminators. Then the DB name, remember we have our database here and it's named discussion. So I will just come here and give it a name of discussion. Let me think, that is what I gave it. So that, then I'm going to test. These are the variables, 4 variables that you will have so that you can make a connection. So we can make a connection to the database by creating a variable. You can give it any name like connection. I'm just going to give it conn to represent connection. So it will equal to, we have a method for connecting known as MySQL I connect. You get, that is a method that we use to connect. It helps us to connect to the database, so it accepts variables for the connection, which are host. We have the username, we have the password, and lastly we have the db. So we have the database name. So those are the 4 variables that will help us make a connection. So we are going to test if this connection is successful. So if it is not successful, I'll debug. You get. So to check if it is connected, we can use if and have if the variable that is storing our connection, which is conn. So when you look at this statement that I'm from writing there, and if you look at another statement, for example, if someone says if and says conn equals to true, you see these two are the same. This one is the same as this one, because whenever I write an if statement, what you put here should be true for this to run. You get. So it's the same thing as saying this, that if connection is true, even this one, so we don't need to write a lot. So I can remove this one and we go with this one, because you're testing if the connection is true. You get. So if the connection is true, we can echo connection successful. Connection successful. You can put an else block if you want, so you can say else. Now this means if it fails, we can use echo. I'm going to show you another way whereby you can use die. You're going to see the difference between the two. Then we are going to say failed to connect. You get failed to connect. So remember that you should always be throwing error so that you can debug. So you can throw an error, you can see where the error is by concatenating a method that helps you to see the error. So we shall have MySQLi. Let me name it. I think it is connect error, where we shall be debugging connect error. Terminate, and then just come to our browser. We are going to look for that. Remember, I'm using WAMP here, so I have many options. I can click there and click on localhost. Let me close this one. So they give me the folder where my work is. So if I click on it, they open the default folder, sorry, the default file, which is the index.php, and you're seeing nothing there. So we want to see if the connection has been successful, and the connection is on the connection is in the connection file. So I'll just write connection.php and click enter. So they are saying that connection successful. You get. So if you want to test if this statement is working, you can remove one letter and save. So if I come back here and refresh, I get failed to connect, which is what I wrote, and then the other method displays this, which is the actual error that we are facing, that unknown database called discussio. You get. So this statement helps you to get the actual error. So if you want to space, you can put a space there. So if you save and come back here and then refresh, you see that space is at least there. So you're getting the error, and then you're getting the message that you wrote that failed to connect. So let me go back and put our end back. So In the next tutorial, we shall look at the difference between using the echo and using the die. I think that was successful, and this was easy, very easy to connect without hassling. Thank you.